towards the 40 mark, but fresh from that wonderful 100 in the second test at the Wanderers, and a double 100, of course, 244 in his last Currie Cup match, where Hudson did not get runs in his last Currie Cup match, but he's been in good form, and he too, the average a little low for a frontline batsman. 3 test hundreds though, to his credit. Mark Eilert from the Umgani end, and beautifully played by Andrew Hudson. He tried that shot once or twice, didn't get his weight up. This time he did, and away past the square leg umpire for 4.
Hudson's timing is so good. Reminds me of Alex Stewart, a clean striker of the ball, a little bit in the air, but really that was beautifully timed.
That's where he likes them, finds the gap, and it'll race away to the boundary, waiting for that one, pitched up outside the off stump.
Well, Mark Eilert, essentially a swing bowler, trying to swing it, has to give it a chance, and if it doesn't do it, that's what happens.
Peter Martin, tallest man in the England tour party, but away through the covers, just 2 full, and 4 more, and Hudson in full cry.
I'm not sure Peter Martin is on at the right end at the Umgani end, because the wind is hardly suited to his away swing.
Upish, but it's 4 more.
He's got a little bit of drift there, but the wind, if anything, is coming over his left shoulder, and you really can't bowl that sort of stuff to Andrew Hudson. He's ready to take anything on.
Dominic Cork. Is that off the bat, off the pads? I think it might be the bat. And 4 runs, bringing up the 50 partnership. So a cracking start for South Africa. Not 15 overs bowled yet.
Terrific stuff. Hudson in particular, he really has gone off like a train, and Michael Atherton's got to do something. It's got to be a bowling change.
It's caught by Graham Hick at second slip, and a fine catch too. And that's the breakthrough England desperately needed, because although Kirsten was playing the anchor role, Hudson was prospering at the other end, and 54 have come very quickly for the first wicket.
It's a better spell. He switched to the Old Fort Road end, and I think that'll suit him better, but it was the bounce there rather than movement, and Graham Hick did well, because a slip like Hick, he's dropped the odd one off a left-handers in the past. That one, no mistake at all. That's Gary Kirsten's sheet anchor effort. Just 8 runs out of 54 for the first wicket. But it really was the bounce here.
Enter the captain, Hansie Cronje. 5 test hundreds to his credit, and the average has gone over the 40 mark. Approaching 1,500 runs in test match cricket now. And he too has been in tremendous form. Richard Illingworth. Oh, yeah! And yes, up goes the finger. Dave Orchard making his first decision in test match cricket, and a difficult one always, the bat pad. And let's see what happened.
Well, the 6th over by Richard Illingworth. He's dropped straight away into length and line, and that one, unlucky in a way that it's flicked off the top of the pad onto the glove, but really if you're going to shoulder arms, then the bat must be withdrawn completely. And David Orchard got that right, and it was one that easily he could have got wrong.
Very good decision. See, he doesn't think it's going to bounce as much as it does, off the flap, and not withdrawing the bat and gloves well out of the way and paying the penalty. Crawley doing the job at silly point.
Well, 9 fours there, and really he's dominated the first session. So England have hit back now, 56 for 2.
Daryl Cullinan, fresh from 2 splendid 60s at the Wanderers, and a 50 in his last innings for Border. and he is approaching 1,000 runs in Test match cricket.
Oh, what a beauty that really was. Just a little wide, but early in an innings, close enough to make the batsman play. The problems at both ends now that Martin's settled in, because Illingworth is creating the pressure.
A little noise there inside of the bat, just brushing the pad. No third man. Umpire Steve Buckner from the West Indies, a very welcome guest in this part of the world.
Well, a run rate that was nestling on 4 suddenly dropped to well below 3. Well, that'll help it along a bit.
Catch it!
In the air, and Martin has done what they asked him to do. He's caught it. Now that is a big blow for South Africa. Not far from the lunch interval.
That's right, only about a quarter of an hour to go, and I can understand Cronje trying to put Illingworth away over the top. He really has put the shackles on, but he was nowhere near the pitch, and it's a bit surprising he went through with a shot. It was an all or nothing, and it's ended up nothing.
Just 8. And South Africa suddenly in trouble at 73 for 3 after that tremendous start. Jonty Rhodes coming to the wicket at number 5, not the young Jacques Kallis that many thought might be the case. Average not good for a top order batsman. That one match-saving 100 made against Sri Lanka. And Jonty Rhodes just 2 at lunch with Cullinan on 9, and no doubt round 1 to England.
Yeah, that was a big session for England in the end. At one stage it looked as though South Africa were romping away, but those 3 wickets, it's pegged them back. Eilert not used there beyond the first spell. Cork, the heaviest workload as usual. Look at those figures of Illingworth at the bottom. There's the man who's made that session. 2 for 7 off 8.
That must be close. No shot offered. No, says umpire, or Illingworth on his knees.
Now, Richard Illingworth, he's not a great demonstrative appealer, not like Dominic Cork, and that was one he really thought he'd got, because have a look where it pitches. She's just outside off stump, carrying on, no turn. Doesn't matter whether the pad's outside the line or not. He got a reasonable stride in, and that is what put enough doubt in umpire Orchard's mind.
He's caught by Robin Smith at cover point. And Cullinan a bit bogged down, and it was just a matter of time. One felt that he was going to try and break the stranglehold, and playing that in the air, and Smith pouching it.
I think Richard Illingworth has earned this wicket. He's kept them so tight, and that it did drift away, there's no question of that. Had it not swung so much, it would probably have been hit through the covers. Instead, it went pretty hard, and that was quite a good catch by Robin Smith. That's the end of Cullinan, and you see how many deliveries he's faced. 60 deliveries and 2 fours in that 10, so that shows how difficult he found to score any runs. It was the away drift that did him.
So a second wicket for Martin in only his 4th Test match, and a great moment for young 20-year-old Jacques Kallis from the Western Province. He's been in prolific form. Oh, he's caught. Martin got that one to do just enough to find the outside edge. And now South Africa are really in trouble.
Yes, they are. Kallis stood there, and you can interpret that one of 2 ways. Either he didn't think he'd hit it, or more probably, as I've seen Mark Ramprakash do recently, just the sheer disappointment. You see the bat drawn away from the front pad by the away swing again. And I'm quite sure that Martin, now on at the right end, has settled into something like his top form.
What a sad moment for Kallis, an average of 50 in first-class cricket at a tender age, and this season he's really been piling on the runs, but disappointment in his first Test.
Well, some great players have started with 1 less than his one, so he needn't worry about that. But there's the perfect picture of how he went.
Brian McMillan at number 7. Relief for South Africa that they can have somebody of his calibre coming in at number 7, an average of over 45, the highest of any of the South African Test players. They all go up. No, says umpire Orchard. So he's having quite a rough time in his first Test match.
See that ball spinning. Well, was it onto bat, then pad, and across the back of the bat? England thought so. Umpire Orchard didn't.
Certainly had to contend with a few appeals. Dominic Cork to Rhodes. Appeal for LBW. Big stride in. No, says umpire Bucknor. Cork can't believe it.
Well, Cork, a great appealer, but bowling from so close, he's got more chance than most. Let's see why Bucknor said no. It's pitched round about middle and off, and a bit of the pad outside, but not the business part, I don't think. Got a good stride in, and again, that does wonders in swaying an umpire. There's a nick down the leg side. Just had to get bat on it, and 4 it was. Occasionally that'll find its way into the wicketkeeper's gloves, but it doesn't look as though it's Dominic Cork's day today.
So the 100 brought up with this shot that flies just wide of Russell, and very interesting that South Africa's first 50 came up in the 15th over, and it's taken some 36 overs to make another 50. Jonty Rhodes plays his favourite shot, and that's 4 runs. This one he really did get hold of.
Yes, he did, and it was off the stumps, but it was of the right sort of length that he could get it almost on the half volley and therefore get some sort of control in. There it is, well pitched up and able to whack it in front of square.
That's all timing, and it might go all the way. It does.
Well, Michael Atherton has been trying to block McMillan leg side, and finally the big man has decided runs have got to come from somewhere. It was nicely timed.
Using his feet nicely, makes it into the full toss and packs it away.
Well, this partnership just starting to mean something now. They've had to graft and grind their way through a lot of trouble, some of it self-inflicted from the top order, but they're doing a good job.
Mark Eilert back at the Umgani end. Oh, that was streaky. Just wide of second slip Hick.
Well, the slip had been moved, and that wry smile from McMillan shows that he knows he's got away with a little bit of something. They'd put him leg side, and lo and behold, more or less from where he'd been, or certainly would have had some sort of chance had he had another man there. Wasn't all that wide of Hick.
Clouds gathering. It's been a big problem over the years here in Durban. Bad light. Just a little push into the covers. I'll get a single. And that brings up a very worthwhile 50 partnership for the 6th wicket. Interesting that of the 10 biggest partnerships that South Africa has had since reintroduction to Test match cricket, 5 of those have been for the 6th or 7th wicket. So once again, the lower order saving the day.
Well, McMillan there, 127 balls that partnership's come from. I think he's South Africa's best batsman.
Well, always a problem in Durban. They've had a lot of rain. We've had it all over the country. They've had a couple of looks at the light, and the light meters have been out. What are they going to decide on this time? It looks as though they've offered it to the batsman, and they gratefully accept. And, well, at 2:45, a lot of time is going to be lost, and I doubt whether there'll be any more play today.
Unfortunately, an early end to the first day's play. The South African scorecard, when bad light stopped play, 139 for 5. fluently struck 45 from Andrew Hudson, but Kirsten was gone for 8, Cronje the same, Cullen only 10, but Rhodes was still there, with Cullis having failed in his first match and McMillan not out 26. 139 for 5. Let's have a look at the partnerships. And it certainly was a good start from Hudson and Kirsten. The anchor role being played by Kirsten before he went out with a score at 54. So that was a good first wicket partnership. But then the only other partnership, meaningful one, is the unbeaten one. Jonty Rhodes, as always, coming to the rescue when things are tough. And Big Mac there as well, too. That's 50 off 129 balls. Cork, 0 for 41 off 19 overs. Ilott bowled quite well in his second spell, and then Martin really came right after 17 runs off his first 2 overs. He took 3 for 30.
Rather limp at the mast. And Peter Martin from the Old Fort Road end. Oh, and he's caught. Very good catch too by Jack Russell as Martin finds the outside edge of Brian McMillan's bat. And that's exactly what England wanted, an early South African wicket to break this partnership.
A little bit of a surprise selection for this test. Peter Martin bowled extremely well yesterday and then started off his day like that. A great catch from Jack Russell, another great catch, and a good wicket for Peter Martin. So a very valuable wicket for England to get. Brian McMillan, rated the best South African batsman by them, so he exits with his score at 28.
Just adding a couple to his overnight situation, and South Africa adding only 2 runs as well. Big blow this for South Africa, and Martin's 4th wicket in the innings. He's only taken 5 wickets in his previous 3 test matches, and an opportunity of getting a 5 in this test match. Very good catch by Russell. It was dying on him as he went away to his right. 112 test catches now, and of course that world record that he created at the Wanderers of 11 dismissals in a test match. Dave Richardson, he's played some valuable innings for South Africa, an average of over 25, which is not bad for a man coming in down the order at 7 or 8. Big appeal for LBW. No, says umpire Steve Bucknell from the West Indies.
Well, the umpires have been put under considerable pressure stemming from the last match, and they're making a lot of good decisions in this one.
That's 4 runs. There's no third man.
Dave Richardson starting a little bit shakily. He didn't quite seem to be in sync with his game as he hits this one with a little bit of a stab of that shot over the slips, but still 4 runs.
Beauty from Martin. He's certainly got the ball to go away from the right-hander.
Well, what one doesn't see from this action shot is the way he went wide of the crease when he started the delivery, so the line of the ball changing, beating Jonty Rhodes.
Mark Ilott, an appeal for LBW. Up goes the finger of umpire Dave Orchard, and Jonty Rhodes has to go. And like McMillan, he hasn't added much to his overnight situation.
Well, another typically gritty knock from Jonty Rhodes. He was under pressure to begin with. He gutsed it out and got a fairly good stride in here, and then missed the ball as it swung in towards him. Delighted Mark Ilott appealing and then getting the affirmative action from Dave Orchard.
He has the ability to straighten it up onto the right-hander. He also has the ability, of course, to go across. So Jonty Rhodes, like McMillan, adding just 2 to his overnight situation. But an innings full of character once again. Over 3 hours at the wicket. Good stride in there, so a little bit unlucky, I think, an iffish sort of LBW decision.
Well, if one looked at it a couple of times, one had to go with the umpire. So, and he only saw it once. So I thought it was, at the end, a good decision by Dave Orchard.
Ilott again from the Mgani end. Cross him, he's got the edge, you heard the sound, and Russell does the rest, and Dave Richardson is gone, caught behind. He'd got a few that, like the Jonty Rhodes LBW, had come back at him, straightened up on him, swung into him, and now suddenly the one from Ireland that goes across the right-hander and it finds the edge.
Well, it's absolutely amazing what happens when the left armour gets the in-swinger to go. Batsmen tend to fiddle like that at the one that goes straight across them. Really good delivery. It looked a weak shot from Dave Richardson, but in fact he was rather fooled by the fact that the other deliveries had been coming back into him in the air, and then got that one. So a relatively routine catch for Jack Russell. He makes them look so easy because he moves so well, and another valuable wicket for England.